welcome to the Fruit Snacks Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Wardrop from Drop the Word Life Coaching. I am the T1D Moms Coach. I'm here to help you manage your mental and emotional health while managing your child's diabetes. 2 of my 5 kiddos have been diagnosed, and so I'm very familiar with your struggles, and I don't know where I'd be without these life coaching tools and the gospel of Jesus Christ to get me through the day and night. Thank you for joining me as we journey towards feeling less scared, sad, and stressed, and start feeling more calm, confident, and connected. Let's get started. All right. Hello, my beautiful T1D families. How are you? I had a whole different podcast lined up to come out today, but I think I'm going to push this one up in the order because we have got to talk about Halloween. And this was going to come out on Halloween Day. And I'm like, no, we're going to put this a week out before Halloween so that we have 7 days to get all the coaching we need before Halloween is upon us. Because day of, it's going to be a day too late. So today we are talking about Halloween and managing our child's type 1 diabetes. Okay. How many of you think that that is a doozy? It is a rough time of year. Well, guess what? That is a thought and that is optional. So we are going to explore that today. First of all, let me be very clear that as your coach, I don't actually have an agenda for you and how you need to manage your child's diabetes, even in regards to Halloween. So I, as your coach, am just here to empower you to get your own back on your own decision on how you want to manage your child's diabetes and Halloween. Okay. So I'm not here with any agenda that you need to do it this way or that way and not do this or that. I just want to help you be able to first make a decision, because hanging out in indecision and confusion is the worst and gets nobody anywhere. And then get your own back about that decision and have to deal with all the repercussions of whatever decision you make. Okay. So let's break it down and talk about it. So this week on our T1D Mom Support Group call, which by the way happens every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time on Zoom. So if you want to join that call, that would be awesome. Go to dropthewar.com/T1D to get all the Zoom call information, and we'll see you on Zoom. Not on Halloween Day, but if you're listening to this today, it's Tuesday. These podcasts come out every Tuesday in the wee hours of the morning. So if you listen to it before 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time, join us. Anyway, this week she was talking about how even on onset, the way that the emergency room handled the diabetes at diagnosis, she wasn't having it. So when I say I want to empower you to be the parenting expert, even the diabetes management parenting expert, I mean, really, like if you're not having it, even the way your doctors or teachers, I talked to another T1D mom this week who was fed up with being gaslighted by the school. I mean, we're talking, sometimes it feels like us against the world. And we gotta really know how to get our own back in situations like those, right? And so to be your own parenting expert, you've got to have that confidence, right? That you know what you're doing, which is totally fine if you don't. If you're thinking, I have no idea what I'm doing, I just need to do whatever the doctors say. Thank goodness that we have doctors, right? That tell us how to manage it. And that's great. And then as you get more comfortable, as you're less freaked out and more confident, then you can start following your own intuition and creating. That's what I want to talk about today, is creating your own family culture around the diabetes. Because thinking that Halloween is a big deal with a kid with diabetes is truly an optional thought. It's not a fact. It's not the way the world runs, that Halloween has to be a huge deal, right? But you get on these Facebook groups and it sure sounds like it's a huge deal for a lot of families. And that is why, honestly, that's why I've niched down as a life coach to helping moms of kids with type 1 diabetes, because there's a lot of drama in these Facebook groups and it's unnecessary, right? So I'm going to help you to cut the drama. Okay. So we've talked the last few weeks about the life coaching model that I use. And so we're just going to use Halloween as an example to show you how this model works, right? So Halloween is a circumstance, and I'm assuming that you live in America and you know, celebrate Halloween. So if you don't, this whole episode is just a big skip. Don't worry about it. And then if you don't even know what Halloween is, or you don't celebrate it, there's another thing. Even if you live in America and you don't celebrate Halloween, that's one diabetes choice even, right? And that might need some help getting your back on that decision. I don't know. Maybe you've been doing it so long it's no big deal, but either way, the point is Halloween exists. Kids go door to door and get a bunch of candy, right? That's kind of the essence of Halloween. And having diabetes seems a little counter to kids knocking on everyone's door in the neighborhood and asking for candy, right? So, but really, truly, Halloween is just Halloween. It just is, right? So it's our neutral circumstance. And then we have a whole bunch of thoughts about it that are causing the feelings. Okay. So if you're feeling, like I said, the first thing we got to do is get you out of indecision. So if you're feeling undecided about how to handle it, what thoughts are causing that indecision? Probably things like, I don't know how to handle it, especially if it's your first Halloween since diagnosis. And when you think that you don't know how to handle it, you feel, well, lots of things. But one of the things, if you're feeling confused, right? Then you go on these Facebook groups, you ask, hey, how do you guys handle Halloween? You get 75 answers and they all contradict each other. You feel even more confused, right? And so you prove that thought true, that you don't know how to handle it. After all that, you still don't know how to handle it. Okay. So that's how it works in the model. And the point of that model is to get awareness of what's going on. So if you're just spinning in confusion and indecision, then you're just getting more and more stressed out as Halloween gets closer and closer. And you're probably getting more and more snippy every time they talk about Halloween and are asking you questions, they being your child and your child's teachers, maybe, and everybody around you, right? Family and friends and everybody. If you don't know what's going on, then how are you supposed to be, you know, helping everyone else know what's going on? Maybe even you and your husband want to get on the same page and he keeps bringing it up and you just keep ripping his head off because you're so stressed out and frazzled about the whole thing. So we got to slow it down, figure out what's going on for you before we can even get anywhere close to deciding, you know, how we're going to handle it. And we don't have to take it all out on all of our loving, concerned, well-meaning friends and family and teachers, right? So when you think Halloween is a big deal, then you feel, what did we just say? You feel frazzled. You feel confused, right? Confusion was leading us to the Facebook groups that we got a million answers. They were all different. And everyone's very what's that word? They got a lot of conviction behind their good night words coming to me right now. Their opinions, right? Everyone's very convicted of their opinion on how you should handle Halloween, but there's lots of different opinions. So how can all of them be right? You get even more confused. And your result is that you've proven that Halloween is a big deal with a kid with diabetes. Okay. And so we've got awareness of what's going on for you. Now we have to look at it without judgment, right? And so a lot of times all of those pieces of the model are hard to find because we've got judgment of them. We've got to be allowing acceptance and allowance of all the pieces. So first of all, accepting the neutral circumstance that it just is, accepting our thoughts about it. Yeah, of course, I think that it's a big deal. In order to even get awareness of those thoughts, we have to have acceptance. So all of the batteries are charging at the same time, right? So we're accepting that we are thinking this way. We're accepting that we're feeling this way. We're allowing the emotions. We just let them come up. We find them in our body. We feel, if we're spinning in confusion, you know how we call it that, spinning? It's usually because we're spinning in our heads, right? So we're like, oh, some people say we're supposed to do it this way, or we're supposed to do it that way. And all the different thoughts are spinning in our heads. So get out of your head, get into your body, You might feel that spinning somewhere else in your body. You might be feeling all those fiery opinions of other people burning in your body somewhere. So just allow all the feelings instead of, like I said, taking it out on everyone around you or eating all the Halloween candy that you were going to give out before Halloween, to try to buffer away the feelings, right, that we talked about last week. So we're just going to allow all those feelings, allow the whole entire model. We're not in any hurry to change anything. This isn't a problem that we need to fix. We're just getting awareness. And the way to get awareness, again, is to accept it, allow it. And as we accept and allow, which we'll talk about next week, which was scheduled for today, but we're pushing it out because Halloween interrupted, is once we have all that acceptance and awareness, then we can go into alignment. So alignment of who you want to be. So this is where we make a decision, right? We find out what feels true to you. What kind of diabetes Halloween mom do you want to be? Do you want to just be like, hey, my kid's just a normal kid and I'm just going to dose the heck out of him because he's going to go crazy with all his Halloween candy, just along with all the other kids? Or are we going to treat it like any other, maybe an allergy that your kid has who's going trick-or-treating, and then it's like, well, then you pick the pencil or the bouncy ball or whatever. A lot of people are a lot more aware, and not giving out candy. And so or maybe you want them to just go crazy on Halloween night, but we're gonna moderate how much they eat, just one little piece every day for the next year, or whatever you want to do. Any of the options are good options. You just get to decide, and then decide that that's the best option for you. So we are intentionally choosing for ourselves what kind of culture we want in our own families. And again, maybe we need to listen to that episode about getting on the same team again. We don't need to be on the same page with our husband. It sure seems like we need to in this case. But we actually, as long as we're on the same team, then we can listen to each other with compassion, with openness, not with resentment and defensiveness, right? We're not on separate teams. You don't need to be the defensive line when he's on the offense. He's just sharing his opinion. Okay, so if we just breathe through all the feelings that come out and allow that whole model, and then just listen to what he wants to do, you can both come up with a solution that works for everybody. And that little tangent came from so anyway, creating your own family culture. Okay, so it all starts with getting your own back. So I say that a lot, right? Basically what that means is that you've made a decision and then you're going to stick to your own decision. So there's a lot of mental gymnastics, we call it, right? A lot of thought work to cut through all the drama, even after you've made the decision, right? So say you decide, okay, your kid can go trick-or-treating like everyone else, but we're just going to moderate how much he eats, right? So, and we got to get our kid on board with this plan. They don't have to agree with it, but we need to at least communicate that that's the plan, right? And expect that they're not going to like it, especially if this is new and they've done Halloween plenty of times before and it wasn't like this, right? So of course we're going to get kickback from the kid. Expect all the power struggles the whole entire night as they keep trying to shove more in their mouth and you keep telling them no. Expect, maybe you have a plan, maybe like after they go to the door and get it in their bucket, then they come and dump it into your pillowcase or something. And then the candy's actually in your possession. So you don't have to be like fighting with them about it the whole night. Or even when they get back, then it's not like, oh, here, let me just take all of that from you. Like you've already got it. And you have all these plans no matter what you decide, right? So maybe you decide, okay, they're just going to go crazy, like as if they don't even have diabetes, and I'm just going to be following them around, dosing them like crazy all night, just have a plan for it. And maybe what you need to plan for is the backlash. It's just in your own brain sometimes, but you've read people's comments, you've read people's opinions, and maybe, whoever would be judging me for handling it this way. Getting your own back is, you don't have to put that much effort or concern into what other people's judgments are. You just care about your own judgment of your own self. And sometimes that's even a lot of mental gymnastics to just be arguing with your own brain, right? And that's fine. And that's normal and that's natural. And there's a lot of brain drama that goes around, that goes along with this, and all the instances of just so much sugar in America and having these kids, right? So that's what I'm for, right? Is I'm here to help you get your own back, to do those mental gymnastics, because it's really hard to be managing your own mind in your own mind. So I help you get it out of your own brain, look at it, figure it out, and decide what you want to put back in your brain intentionally instead of just having the tug of war in your own head. Okay. So we're dropping the war on the drama of diabetes and Halloween. Again, as your coach, I don't care what you decide. You're the expert. So I just want you to decide and not spin in confusion and indecision. And you have a week to decide. Really, the sooner the better, so that you can get everybody else on board and prepared for, because there's a lot of people. There's the teachers at school, like, how are we going to handle the party? There's, grandma who's going to take them trick-or-treating, like, how's she going to be on board? There's, the other grandma who's going to come and bring huge sugar cookies decorated for Halloween. Like, if there's some prepared beforehand work, you got to do it. And if you decide not to do it, like, let grandma be grandma, let them do it however they want to do it, then we've got to manage our own minds around it. We don't need to be resenting grandma for not being on a plan that you didn't even tell her about, right? So all the things, there's so many things. So you have a week to get ready, maybe less than that. I don't know when you're listening to this. Maybe you're listening to this and it's after Halloween, and I guarantee there's still some mental drama going on after the fact. So let's chat that out, because we don't need Halloween to be a big deal year round, right? Let's for sure put this thing to bed. Well, and the candy might last year round, so you might have to be dealing with it. And let's be straight here. So we were actually at the dentist the other day, and it was even my diabetic who we went to get flu shots, actually. And again, there's even different opinions about that, right? And the poor moderators on these Facebook groups are always like, okay, people, remember, there's rules about this. We're not supposed to be talking about whatever. That's specifically COVID vaccinations. They're always reminding us to not get heated about. But the point is, we decided to do flu shots, right? And then, of course, the kids don't want to do flu shots. So, of course, we have to, we decided to bribe them that after flu shots, we'll go to the dollar store. So, of course, at the dollar store, everybody picks some candy. So, of course, they're eating candy in the car on the way home. And my daughter's like, I'm like, spit it out. You're what? Her little spacer, she has a spacer because she had to have a tooth removed, and the spacer is holding space until her molar comes back in, came out with the candy. And luckily we were driving right by the dentist at that very opportune second. So we turned into the dentist, take the spacer covered in, it was my candy, actually. Let's be straight. What are those called? Airhead dots. Those are so good. I love Airheads. Anyway, very sticky. So we take the spacer covered in Airheads into the dentist, get it all handled, whatever. Don't remember why I got on this tangent of telling the story. The point is, I don't remember. The point is, yeah. So we're sitting there at the dentist, and they're, saying something about, it's the season, the candy season, because it's Halloween. And I'm like, yeah, really, when is it not candy season? Especially right now, right? It's kind of like Halloween's the beginning of the holidays that are very, very filled with sugar all the way through Easter. Maybe we have the summer off from candy season. I don't know. Point is, there's a lot of sugar in our American diet. A lot of candy, a lot of kids, can be a lot of drama, but it doesn't have to be. So all that to say that if Halloween is turning into a monster for you, let's tame the beast. Okay. So again, all of this sounds like a lot of blah, blah, blah if we don't have your exact circumstance that we're talking about and focusing in on, because I'm just guessing, throwing things around, and it may or may not land, because that's not exactly what you're thinking. So coaching works a lot better when it's a coaching situation with back and forth with you on the call, not just me rambling. So hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of what it would be like to be coached, what we're going to work on, and especially that I'm not going to try to convince you one way or the other. I'm just going to help you decide what you're convicted about, and then help you get everyone else in your family to get on the same team with the same game plan quick before Halloween happens. Okay. So if that sounds good, hop on over to dropthewar.com/appointments, and you can sign up for a complimentary coaching session this week to get prepared for Halloween, or next week to to coach after the fact. It's nice to get pre-coaching, during coaching, after coaching, anytime. Our brains are doing all sorts of amazing things that we need to rein it in sometimes. So type 1 diabetes and Halloween, there it is for you, friends. And I'll see you on Zoom. Bye. Hello, my sweet T1D parent friend. The next time you catch yourself thinking that you can't do this anymore, redirect your brain to Philippians 4:13 and remind yourself that you can do all things through Christ, which strengthens you. As your life coach, I'm here to be a conduit to help you get your brain and body aligned in order for your spirit to clearly communicate with His Spirit to become your own diabetes parenting expert. Go to dropthewar.com/appointments for your complimentary coaching session, and let's do this thing.